Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and good morning to different people who are joining from different parts of the world. Thank you very much for joining us. Career is a very crucial decision that we all have to make. Most of our waking hours go in some kind of occupation, which gives us an income, which is in our comfort zone, where we are able to use our skills and knowledge, and where we feel a sense of companionship and an opportunity to grow. That is what we look for in a career. Now, today's world is volatile, unstable, complex, and ambiguous. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. There are too many disruptions. But believe me, everything is positive. Whatever happens, there could be always challenges. Whenever new technology comes in, new things happen. But the opportunity for us is endless. So how do we approach this with clarity? What are the things we need to look at about ourselves? What are the things that are external to us that are important that we need to consider? And then how do we make our own mental map and proceed? That is what we are going to hear from Surya Saraf here. She is a very experienced professional. She has been in the corporate for several years, and she has been conducting these workshops regularly for kids and parents. And I request her to take it over from here. In the meanwhile, I just request everybody to keep your microphone on mute. And when she requests you to unmute and talk, you can. And on personal chat, one-on-one to her, you can send her any questions as and when they occur to you. And if she believes that she can answer it while the course is going on, she may do it. Otherwise, at the end of it, as per the topic that we are raising question on. And over to you, Surya. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the context setting that you did. I think it was really important that we set the right context because it is extremely important and something which is sort of on everyone's mind these days. So I just want to ensure to everyone that whether you are a working professional or you're a parent who is exploring different options for your child, this session will give you some nuggets of how you could go about planning the future course for yourself or for your child. So with that said, I would quickly start with sharing of my screen. I'm not sure if my screen is loading. I'll just give me a yes in the chat box if it is loaded.
Yes, it is loaded.
All right, thanks. So yeah, so this session is applicable to both working professionals, students, and people who may want to restart their career as well. So I had put this question in the Google form as well, but I would still want to see what is that one thing which is the most important worry for you right now about when it comes to your or your child's career. We all know that there can be multiple things, but yeah, if few words you could describe what is the biggest worry right now that you think. AI is what Yugandhar said. Okay, anything else which is kind of worrying? Too many options, overwhelmed, is that as well something that is worrying a lot of you? Yeah, I think we will listen to some of the perspectives going forward, but this is something that I wanted to understand before we get started. As before I dive further into the agenda of the day, I would want to start with this story of three statues. I think Girija ji covered it briefly, but this story is also emphasizing almost the same points. There was this king who was gifted three statues. They kind of looked exactly the same. One of them was priced really high, one of them was priced medium, and one of them was priced really low. Now the king got all his ministers together to kind of find out what is it that was different in the statues that was making one price really high, one price medium, and one price low. None of the ministers were able to figure out, but then the wisest minister came and he figured out that in one of the statues, if you put a pearl from one of the ear of the statue, it comes out from the other ear of the statue. In the other statue, if you put the pearl from one ear, it comes out from the mouth of the statue. And in the third statue, if you put a pearl from the ear, it doesn't come out. It stays in the stomach. So the statue where the pearl was coming out was priced the lowest. Where the pearl was coming out from the ear, it was priced the lowest. Where the pearl was coming out from the mouth, it was priced medium. And where the pearl was staying inside the stomach, it was priced the highest. So the context is that if you want to become that statue which is priced the highest, you don't just have to listen to information from one ear and let it come out from the other ear. You have to not just talk about it, you have to absorb it fully. So I would request you all to be fully participative, like Girija ji said, that if we keep the videos on, we keep the participation on, it energizes the speaker as well. So I would request you. We also have some special bonuses for people who stay participative, which is some sort of a detailed documents on new age careers, because a lot of you in the Google form had mentioned that you are looking for a lot of new age careers. There are so many careers right now, but with the advent of bombardment of careers, we all want to know which are the different options in science, in commerce, in arts that the student can go through. And that, with that said, the brief agenda, I'll just give a brief about my journey, and then I would just give you some context about how and why career planning is to be done. And then I will walk you through some sample reports which we have done for some of the students that will give you some of the idea of how a very scientific approach can be employed for going through a detailed career planning. Now, I don't know if you remember this movie, Three Idiots. There was this Farhan, when he was born, his parents mentioned this, Mera beta engineer banega, right? I don't know how many of you remember this movie, but I think a lot of us watched this movie, and a lot of us could relate to this movie, because that's what a lot of India is about. A lot of India decides, even when the child is just getting out of the mother's womb, what the child is going to become. And engineering is an obsession with most of the India, and that's what a lot of us end up doing. And it's a big joke that engineers do everything except engineering in the long run. But that's a reality in India. So there are a lot of ways in which most of the India chooses its careers. It's majorly either through friends, parents, influencers, or following the herd. I would want to know in the chat from some of you, how did you choose the career? If you are a parent or a professional, how did you choose the career that you are currently in? Was it any one of these that you chose it under the influence of friends, parents, influencers? Anyone would want to share in the chat? Parents. Okay, Rinku says parents. Any other participants would want to share what was their thought process of choosing the career that they are currently in? How did they decide? Okay, random person. Okay, classmates. Okay, friends. Yeah, so I would just start this with a brief background about how I chose the career that I am into it. I am sure a lot of you may be able to relate to what I am going to narrate here. I come from Jammu Kashmir. I'm sure a lot of you would know about it. And like most of India, it's decided in childhood that the child has to become an engineer, and it's only the branch that is to be decided whether it's going to be computers, electronics, chemical. And that's how I landed into Mumbai. And in those times, people who were like 2-3 years senior to us, we used to go to them and ask that, Bhaiya, what should I get into? And in my case, my ranking was average. So I kind of asked my cousin whether I should go for a very good college and an average branch, or a very good branch like computers. In those times, computers was a hot branch, and a not like average college. And my cousin suggested go for any branch, but go for a good college. And that's how I landed into chemical engineering. And after uh, 4 years of chemical engineering, none of the chemical companies were ready to take me. So I landed into IT. I was all excited. Everyone was, your life is set. You have got placed in Deloitte. Now you don't need to worry about anything. Within a year of spending my time in Deloitte, I realized that coding was something definitely that I did not enjoy doing. I uh, was feeling suffocated doing coding. I, like most of the computer confused engineers, I decided to do an MBA, and that followed the MBA followed different companies in IT, in the sales support, pre-sales, bid management, and alliances roles. And that was going on. I was kind of running in this mode for a lot of years. But something happened in 2020. I'm sure a lot of you know that pandemic, a lot of people were made to lose their jobs in the pandemic. A lot of people were looking how to get back to the workforce because there was huge layoffs. And I was also one of them. But then I decided that I am always been passionate about training, coaching. I would explore that, and I started helping people with optimizing of their LinkedIn profile, with their resumes, with their interviews, salary negotiations. I did that for quite some time, and as I was doing that, I realized that even after 10, 12, 15 years of experience, a lot of people felt that they were stuck in the wrong career. They felt that this was not something that they should have been doing, but because it's been there like that, they wanted to move to a new career. And that's when I decided to get a certification in psychometric assessments to help people to pivot their careers from what they have been doing to something that they really would get aligned to. And as I was doing these certifications, I realized that though professionals at any age can take these assessments, but the best time to take these assessments is between 8th and 12th, because that's when you don't have a wastage of a lot of time and effort, which if you decide at the right time what is your path going to be, you wouldn't be wandering, spending so many years in different fields and then coming to what you actually have to do. And that's how this journey of Thrive Gain, which is now, this my small initiative towards helping professionals and students to get aligned to their career started. And I have already given you this background about different companies. And now into this, I have been a passionate Toastmaster since many years. I'm also an Art of Living volunteer. So this is a brief about why I started this journey. Hope some of you were able to align. I'm sure a lot of you would be maybe able to align to what I said about engineering or about different, people wanting to switch their careers after a lot of time gap as well. Um, with that, um, this is what I realized as I was talking to a lot of uh, professionals, that 70% of the mid-career professionals, in fact, there's a lot of research which proves this, that there is uh, a lot of regret of the choices later on in life, and promotions is definitely not what fulfillment is uh, able to translate to, right? So it is a huge cost in terms of time, in terms of emotion, that a lot of us go through, in terms of working professionals feeling stuck in a role with no growth and wasting years in the wrong industry, also following job trends that don't fit their strengths, and lack of guidance on how to pivot strategically. So this is majorly what I, over these years, realized for by working with a lot of working professionals. Now, I would want to see which of these resonates, which of these career mistakes resonates with you, because I may be talking about some generic people. Which of these career mistakes do you think resonates with you? Does any of this resonate with you? You chose a job for money, not interest. You followed peer pressure. You switched too often, and maybe confused now. You stayed too long in the wrong career. You could put 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat if any of this resonates with you in terms of your journey till now. Stayed too long in a career. Yeah, a lot of people, when they don't know what to do, they would stay long. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Switch too often. Okay, followed peer pressure. Yeah. Yeah, I think my journey also sort of is similar. I also went through a lot of these, like following peer pressure. Everyone is doing engineering. Let me also do engineering. Everyone is changing jobs. Let me also change jobs. Maybe a better company will make it feel better. Maybe MBA will make it feel better. A lot of these sort of decisions go on with all of us. In terms of parents, because I'm sure that this is what working professionals, a lot of us have faced. In terms of being a parent, a lot of us are also in the current times facing a lot of issues which we may not be vocally saying, but it is there in the back of our mind, in terms of there is guidance. There is, every school is preparing for NEET, JEE in India at least, but there is no structured guidance towards other careers which can be explored besides the uh, general top of the mind careers, which is engineering, MBBS, CA. There is a lot of fear that we may be wasting money on courses which may not be aligned to our child's actual strength. There is an overwhelm. Of course, there are so many career options, more than 3,000 career options available. So there is an overwhelm which we as parents are facing as well. We are unsure whether the skill that our child has is aligning with the long-term career aspirations that we have for them, or that would be really good for them. So these are some of the areas which along with a lot of myths, which I think a lot of it has changed, which is science is the only safe option, art and commerce have no scope, marks decide your future. A lot of it has changed, but a lot of us at the back of our mind are going to, as parents, going through all of these issues which keep worrying us. When we say education is the best investment we want to make in our child's life, it is actually the quality education which we want to give as the best gift to our child. And it's going to be one of the biggest expenses that we will have. It's very huge in terms of the inflation in education. It's almost 2x the general inflation, which is between 11 to 14% is the inflation for education. And I'm sure some of you will resonate that when we were in 10th standard, maybe the fee I was paying, maybe would have been 6,000. In the year 2000, it must have been like 500 a month or so. But these days, I'm sure the inflation has, most of the school fee has almost become 10, 20 times of what it was at that time. So the inflation is huge. The fees in terms of the big courses, it is in the range of lakhs, right? From MBA to medical to engineering, it runs in lakhs. Even in India, in abroad, it is sort of in crores. If we just go for Stanford and Harvard and all these big colleges, it is sort of going to be, this expense is going to be in CRs, right? Uh, and if we look at the inflation, even if we have to plan it after 10, 5, 8 years, it's going to kind of be, we'll have to factor in this in the savings. What is going to be the inflation and what is the saving going to be if we have to plan. So this expense is going to be huge, but what if it is in the wrong career? What if you spend crores on the education and it is not in the right career? After the degree, the child feels pressurized now because he has now got to he's got a loan, he's got so much invested, so he has to continue in that career. So it is very important to say with full clarity on what stream, course, and career path your child will take. This is, as parents, we all need to be aware that the cost is huge, so we have to say with full clarity. And why was this cost this not a big concern few years back when we were passing from our 12th or maybe our graduation also? That time there were very limited career options. There was a huge demand and less supply in terms of doctors, engineers, lawyers, government services. These were the major careers everyone would aspire to get into. And yeah, there were no other careers that we were aware of. And we realized over these years that there is right now, there are more than 60% of the engineers which are passing out are unemployable, and they are wasting a lot of time doing something which is they're not going to do overall leverage in the long run. So right now, if we look at the current situation, there is a huge supply of engineers, of professionals who have degrees, but then there is the demand, what the skill gap is huge in terms of what is the actual market demand and what the student has. There is a large skill gap. Um, so the hidden cost is there is a financial loss, there is years loss, there is a lot of regret, and there is a opportunity cost of missing high growth fields if we don't plan it at the right time. Now, coming to the solution, because we discussed a lot about the problems. Now, I would want you all to be, what exactly should we be looking at when we are planning the career? So there are 6 dimensions that we will not be able to go very deep, but we would be touching about each of these. And maybe if you have a pen or if you would want to put in the chat on, because we will have some sort of a thought in each of these dimensions, which you could note down for your own self as well. And if you would want to put it in the chat also, that would also be great, because we would get to know what the audience is majorly about. So the 6 dimensions, the first is personality type, the second is career interest, the third is career motivator. I would go through each of these because I think if I just tell you in one line, you may not be able to get it. I will just give you maybe few questions to ponder about, and you could put in the chat or put in your notebook. So personality type, you could pick one of these words, which is creative, logical, detail oriented, or people person. What would be that one word that you think about yourself, and do you think your friend will also agree? You may think you are a people person. Do you think your friend agrees that you are a people person? So pick that one word which aligns most to you. Are you creative? Are you logical? Are you detail oriented? Are you a people person? Put that one word in the chat. Nitesh says creative. Okay, Sapna is people person. Okay, we have a lot of people persons here. Yeah. Did you all think through it? What is that one word that comes to your mind? Yes. Creative, people person. Okay. Yeah. Logic. All right. So all of us, there would be something that describes us more in terms of personality, though this is a very detailed assessment in terms of, whether you are extrovert, introvert, thinking, feeling, judging, sensing. It's a very detailed assessment. But on an layman's language, this is what you can look at majorly, that what is it that people describe you? Do people describe you as very detail oriented? Do they describe you as very logical? Do they describe you as very creative? So this is one of the dimensions that we looked at. Okay. Besides this, we will also consider other dimensions when we are making a career choice. And then merging all this together, we will also consider the demand, because there is sort of a Kundali horoscope matching between your dimensions and what the job needs, that needs to be done as well. Now, the other dimension is the career interest dimension. Now, the career interest, basically what it means is most of us are either of these six career interests, are like, we may have, few of us will have all of these as well, but we generally look at the top three. So realistic interest would be those people who would like to do things with their hands, like making something or assembling something. So that interest is very high in people with high realistic interest. So it's not that if you have realistic interest, you will not have artistic interest, you will not have, in fact, a combination of these interests is very much required. But at the same time, there will be three most dominant interests which all of us will have, which will be our like top three interests. So realistic is something to do with your hands. Investigative is someone who likes to do research about things. They would want to always dig down deep about how this thing functions, what are the inside details of this particular thing. Artistic, we all will understand very easily. People who are creative, whether it is in their words, whether it is through the expression of their art, singing, that those sort of people come under the artistic interest. Social interest, people would want to make a difference in the society, whether it is through helping someone. So people who are generally in the teaching, in the coaching, they get a lot of joy when they are able to see, like Girija mentioned at the beginning, when students are transforming themselves, she gets a lot of joy. So I'm sure her social interest is extremely high. So that's something which excites them to the core when they are able to bring a difference in the society. Enterprising people, they like to organize things, they like to uh, you know market, campaign. So those sort of people who are always on the move of campaigning for something or the other, their enterprising interest is the highest. Conventional interest is the highest, wherein they like to systematically do things, like in professions like accounts. If they will have a very high conventional interest because they like to follow a process in terms of this after this after this. So all of us will probably have all of these interests in different degrees, but we have to see which of these interests is more dominant in us, and which of these interests is more
I don't know. She'll come back. Just let's wait. Even when she was discussing the attributes, like whether you are creative, whether you are people oriented, you feel that you are detail oriented, you have many of these traits, right? Without it, which cannot survive in the career, in whatever you do. So even if you're a social oriented person, you will be also, you have to be detail oriented, you have to be creative, you have to be enterprising. So you will be all of that. But how much, what is the predominant quality? That is what is driving you. That becomes a driving force. So you can't say that a person is completely detail oriented, so he will neglect people. If you are detail oriented, you're also particular about the people who are there in your team. What are their interests? What are their experiences? What is their attribute? How do they contribute to the team? All these things you'll be looking at. The same thing will happen if we also look at the other details, right? So if you're detail oriented, if you look at people, similarly, if you're people oriented, you will be definitely looking at the other aspects. You are detail oriented because what is happening? Today, I read a Facebook post where I saw that there was a CEO of a company. As he enters, he sees a watchman and everybody just ignores him. Nobody even acknowledges him. He says good morning as and when somebody steps in. Some people just nod. Some people don't even look at his face. They go away. But he, as the CEO, is new and he stops. First, one day he asks his name. Second day he asks him about his family. And one day when he steps in, he has brought him a tiffin box and he says, "You said your daughter loves biryani, so my wife has made excess biryani and she sent some for you, daughter." His eyes well with tears and he is so very happy that he begins to talk about it to everybody as though something very phenomenal has taken place in his life, right? So for this person, his self-esteem has become so much. He feels somebody recognized, somebody important. So that is a trait that then others also started looking up at him with respect. He began to feel that he was somebody who made a difference. So very often we don't even look up at people who probably serve us a cup of tea or coffee every day. Only on the day where they are absent, we'll say, "Where is she?" She's not there. Or only on the day when your table is not cleaned, what happened? Why is she not there? On the days when something is being done, we don't even notice. So we call these people or services as hygiene factors. In many of the organizations, we take for granted. We have a nice table, a laptop is provided to you, there is internet, the washrooms are quite clean and all the facilities are there. There is a canteen and you're served. Take it for granted. But go to government organizations, even today in India, in so many places, you find that you can't enter the toilet or you can't even at your work area, you can feel the stink. And people, how can they go and fill their drinking water also there nearby from their wash basin? So they'll be carrying drinking water. Some of them use even the drinking water for the toilet because the toilet has no water. So when we really go there, we realize the struggles that these people are facing. Then we begin to realize, oh, these are not so common as we think. We cannot take them for granted. They are something important. So the day this is missing, sorry, in your office, then you begin to make a ruckus about it. What is happening? I have fever and cold, so I'm not able to talk continuously.
Sorry, I had disconnected. Now I have connected. I have Wi-Fi. I think my flunked. Am I audible now?
You're audible.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. I think there was some internet issue. I was thrown out of the meeting. All right. Sorry. I will continue. Okay, so I think we were on interests. I was going to show the interactive activity of interest. When I got conged off, I would just continue from interest. Yeah, I hope I hope this was clear in terms of the different interests. What do they mean?
No, we discussed it.
Could you,
Yes. Can go ahead.
I can go ahead. Was this clear? I was audible when this was going on. All right. So there are different interests in different degrees. I would want you to think which of these would you pick if you had, if money was not an issue. What if you were given a say, school project? Would you prefer building something or solving a mystery or teaching someone, designing a poster, leading a team, or organizing data? These six, which one would you have picked if you were given a chance, say in a school or in an office project, to pick one of these, which one would you have think that would give you some idea about your top career interests as whether you're a student or a professional? Okay, Nikshita says lead a team, teach, lead a team. People will have very high enterprising interest. They can put things together, so they are a very good material for entrepreneurship related career or marketing related careers as well. So yeah, so we have a lot of leaders here. Creativeness would be very good for fields wherein that is a top interest, maybe artists or those sort of fields. So yeah, all of us will have something which we would want to pick over the other if given a chance. That is our most dominant interest. There will be interest who would want to do both, who would probably want to do design a poster also, lead a team also. They would, but to what degree, which interest is dominant is what we would have to exactly measure. The third is the career motivator, which is in terms of the internal drivers. Is it, if you had to rank these, I know it is very difficult for a lot of us to rank one over the other, but if you had, because maybe 20 years back or 10 years back, there were different motivations in your career, but right now, what is the top motivation in your career? Is it money? Is it creativity? Is it job security? Is it making an impact? Or is it work-life balance? This will require some thought too, because a lot of us would probably want both or three, four of them together. But the order in which we want this would also determine which career choice is right for us, because what may be right for one person may not be right for the other person because of different motivators being more dominant in different people. A lot of people in mid career or even in early career are suffering from burnout because they are in a career wherein maybe making an impact is the top most priority, whereas they themselves as their priority is maybe creativity or work life balance, so they are sort of totally in misaligned. So if you would want to make down note of this in your own notes, or if you would want to share that as well, would be great. But it is different people will have these in different orders. For some, money would be the top most priority. For some, it may be something else. So yeah, this is something that we will have to think through. Okay, a lot of us making an impact is the topmost priority. Job security may be the last priority. For some, it may be the first priority, right? So different priorities will make us choose different careers, and misaligned uh, motivators will make us feel burnout in some careers. That is about the motivators. Learning style. Uh, a lot of us learn through different mediums. You would have seen that some of us learn better when we actually see things in terms of diagrams, flowcharts. Those of us are visual learners. Some of us would majorly feel better. We would have a combination of these learning styles as well, but a learning style would be dominant over the other. So if a visual learning style is dominant over the auditory learning style, if you're not able to see diagram and you're just listening to the lessons only in terms of the voice of the speaker, you may not be able to understand. Similarly, some of us will not understand till we write, and some of us will understand only if we build things. So that is kinesthetic, if we learn by building things. The example that I have over here is many of us would want to probably learn Canva or a new app. What would be your best way to learn a new app? Would you watch a YouTube tutorial? Would you listen to a podcast? Would you read a user guide? Or would you try it yourself by sort of actually going to the app, editing? So, which of these do you think you would do? That is your most dominant learning style, which will help you to align to careers where that learning style would be more aligned to. So you could put in the chat what exactly. Okay, visual realism. Try it yourself, Rinku says. Okay. So think about it, because these dimensions all of us may not have thought through, though all of us would know that I learn best by watching a video, I learn best by actually listening to the podcast or actually making things on my own. So if you are a student and you are a kinesthetic learner, or you are a parent to a kinesthetic learner, that child is never going to learn by just looking at things. Till the time he actually builds things, he is not going to learn. And the kinesthetic learner cannot sit at one place and study. He has to keep moving around. So, it's better to give him a headphone and make him listen to some notes while he is moving around. Or you yourself are a kinesthetic learner, and if you learn best while you are moving around, that is something you have to see, that which is your learning style. The fifth dimension is the skills. A lot of us focus on skills that we are not good at, uh, but there will always be some skills which we are naturally good at. If we focus more of our energies, like if you are a good logical person, you focus more on developing that skill further, though you will still have to work on your communication, leadership, and creative abilities. But you will be more aligned to professions wherein only the logical skill will also be the most dominant. Say professions uh, like coding or those things, they may not require that much initially leadership, though as you will go further in that career, you will require leadership abilities as well. But initially, if you just have good logical skills, you should be good in those careers. So you have to focus on what exactly feels already good for you at this stage, rather than focusing on things which are not good. You can work on those. So you just pick one skill today which you feel you're very good at, and you work further on honing that, maybe communication, maybe analytical, maybe creative, and one skill which you would want to improve, because all of us would have some skills which we would want to improve on. So those skills also will be important over a long term in some professions. We'll see how this is actually measured in a person going forward. And this sixth dimension is actually the secret ingredient, which is only developed fully after 18 years of age, which is the emotional intelligence. So till 18 years of age, we do not look at the sixth dimension, which is the emotional intelligence, because it's not fully developed till 18. After 18, so for people who are either going into graduation or who are working professionals, this is going to be one of the very important dimensions that we will look at, which is the emotional intelligence dimension. As all of you who would have worked in either your own companies or as professionals would know, that emotional intelligence over the long run for leadership roles is extremely important, but different professions require this in different degrees. Say a sales profession will definitely require a very good uh, self-awareness, very good social skills. Maybe some accounting related profession may require it in a little less degree. That doesn't mean that that is not a good profession. But though all of us have to work on this, some of us naturally are good at this particular dimension, which is the emotional intelligence, which is the ability to manage our communication, our teams, our relationships better. So, this is the last dimension that we look at for professionals. For students who are till grade 12, we do not look at emotional intelligence. But for professionals, this is extremely important dimension that we look at. So the career clarity solutions, we have a lot of tech platforms which are sort of having a lot of data insights because they will have a lot of professions, what sort of fields that they need. But at the same time, a lot of these things are very, very customizable, personalized for a person. So that's where, sometimes the one-on-one counselors are a better fit. But when we need a lot of data insights, we have tech platforms as well. But the best would be to have a combination of data insights, which is what profession needs, what sort of these parameters, and a match with your personality, which is sort of a kind of a kundali matching of your personality and that profession. That is extremely important. But at the same time, many a times still there is overwhelm. So the personalization is also extremely important. I would want you to actually go through some of the sample reports that we have. Edu Milestones is the platform that I wanted you to take a overview about, which will give you an overview of how these dimensions are actually matched. This platform is what I researched about, and this gave me an overview of more than 5 lakh students having taken this assessments through this platform to take informed career choices. It has been rated the highest rated career counseling platform in terms of how the planning is to be done in a very, very systematic manner. I would probably take you through a sample report here to make you see how uh, exactly the platform works. Uh, should, yeah, I will just take you through one thing. So this is how the platform looks like if you log in. Uh, Wait, let me just show you some sample reports maybe and then take you through the platform. If you could put in like what exactly would you want to see? Would you want to see for a professional or would you want to see for a student a sample report? I could probably open that sort of a sample report and that student of which grade. Most of you are parents here, then you could put in, should I open a 10th standard? Okay, let me open a 10th standard report. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah. So the first dimension that we measured, which was the personality, it is measured in much more depth in terms of the introvert, extrovert. All of us have these in different degrees. Some of us maybe even 49, 51, that sort of a degree, sensing, intuitive, thinking, feeling, judging, perceiving. So this is the first dimension which is measured in terms of how we prefer to focus our energy, how
Excuse
we
me.
grasp information.
Excuse
Is
me.
this
We
visible?
can see the presentation on about edu milestones. We can't see anything else. You are sharing
Oh,
something else as I get it. Yeah.
yeah, I think I'll share the full screen. Maybe it was only the window that was visible. Is it visible now?
Yes. Now we can see it. Yes.
Okay. So this is a report, sample report, wherein the first dimension is the career personality, wherein the degree to which the person is introvert or extrovert, which is how he wants to deal with the people. Does he want get energy by being with his own self, or does he get energy by being with people? How does he take his decisions? How does he process information? How does he take the final chance in terms of planning his work, which is for spontaneous people, it will be very, very on the fly. For uh, different people, this will be in different degrees. So the strengths come out as the first dimension. The second is the interest. Like I said, all of us will have these interests, but in different degrees, which is investigative, artistic, social. So for him, the investigative interest is the highest, followed by artistic and social. So we look at only the top three interests, which are dominant in this particular student. Then the motivator, like I said, what exactly makes you jump out of the bed to go to work, which is creativity is the number one thing which motivates this particular student, along with continuous learning, structured work environment, social service is a little on the lower side for him. For some, this would be the top priority as well. And learning style, he is more of a visual learner rather than a kinesthetic learner. So the different learning style is observed, and then learning improvement strategies are given based on what his dominant learning style is. So if he is a visual learner, he would be learning more from diagrams, from pictures. So that is what he would be learning. The skills, like I said, different skills will be dominant. For him, the numerical is the highest, verbal is good, administrative is what he needs to improve on. So leadership and decision making is also average. Um, Then, based on this, the career, this is sort of now the top clusters which will come up depending on all these dimensions. What would be the best clusters that are fitting this particular student? So, the top clusters that came up for this students are architecture, engineering, and bioscience research, which came up. Um, and then there would be, because he is still in 10th, there would be subject recommendations for him. This is the most important part, wherein I was saying that with more than 3,000 careers, there would be a sort of a matching done, which as per skills and abilities and psychometric analysis is the top choice for this particular student. So those, so in different clusters, those top choices would be highlighted, followed by good choices. And then there would be, in the end, this student can get into a discussion with his parents and a counselor to choose one path out of all these. Because when, so say, I spoke to this child, he said that though engineering is a strong area, I definitely don't feel energized doing engineering related work, but anything to do with health science is something that I really want to get into. And then we shortlisted on different options in health science, and bioinformatics was one thing that he felt more inclined towards. It was because uh, a lot of he was looking for a career which not just has high demand but also has high salary, like a lot of parents had mentioned in their concern as well, that there would be some careers wherein the demand may be high but the salary is medium, and the child is wanting to have a career which as of now is giving him a balance of all these things, which is a good salary, a good demand, and a good ease of getting into. So he analyzed his personality on all of these parameters and realized that a lot of these interest motivators were aligned to him, and there would be some areas that he would need to work upon. Um, and because these students may be still very young, they may not know what exactly does a bioinformatics professional do. So the exact nature of bioinformatics or whichever career that student wants, feels he's getting aligned to is explained. And then the roadmap for education is decided in terms of what exactly could be the graduation courses, what could be the post-graduation courses, what could be the occupations, and then the career path analysis. Like I said, all these parameters are of extreme interest to a lot of parents and students, which is the fees medium, because in professions like MBBS and engineering, sometimes the fees is also very high, though the demand and salary is high as well. And the level of preparation is also medium in this particular case. So this is sort of a sample report of a student who was wanting to explore different careers in which are aligned to his 5 dimensions. And say suppose tomorrow this student feels that this bioinformatics, if he wants to explore, say, some other career, he would be able to generate a similar sort of a report from his dashboard for multiple different careers with the same sort of a execution report. Like I said, he didn't want to get into architecture, engineering, or those sort of, he was very particular that he wanted to get into careers which are related to health science. So he sort of chose the best fitting. Say he right now chose bioinformatics, tomorrow say he feels that no, I would want to choose some other of these things that are listed here, say pharmacist. Though it's a good choice, it's not a top choice for him. He can generate these sort of reports. So there's a good use of AI to do the matching of these different careers with the different skills required in different professions. So this process becomes more scientific rather than a guesswork related process, wherein it is just not clear that the initial part of the report will be same, but for say for this pharmacist, he would get a different career path and a different work nature, which will be sort of given to him in terms of the career demand. Say so salaries is sort of medium for a pharmacist, but the fees is low. So different people will have different priorities. This is a much more detailed way of doing it. But the basis of all this is those 5, 6 parameters that we saw, and how these different parameters are aligned to different professions. Different professions will need them in different degrees. And this is some working professional one. Maybe I can show another sample report of a working professional here, because a lot of us may be able to relate to that more. We are working professional. So the initial 5 dimensions are the same for the working professional as well, which is first is the personality dimension, wherein the what aspect of the personality is more dominant over others is observed. Then the career interest type, say for this person, social is the most dominant interest type over enterprising, artistic, and others. So the top 3 interests are majorly taken for a profession. Career motivator is social service is the highest motivator for this person. Learning style is read and write. And here there is this additional dimension of emotional intelligence, which I mentioned only after class 12th. This dimension gets developed, which is the emotional intelligence, how self-aware you are, how much you are able to empathize, relationship management, all these. I'm sure when you would have worked in a job, you would have realized how important these dimensions become as you grow further in your career. Skills and abilities is important, but at the same time, the other emotional intelligence also becomes so, because there was so much social in all the dimensions of this person. Human service came as a top cluster, though besides human service, there is media and communication, which also came up as a good cluster because enterprising interest was high. And so we are now using AI to help us do the matching of our interest with the different careers that are required, that the careers need in terms of the degrees. And there is a good choice, there is a top choice. So this is more in terms of the working professional as well, how this would align. In terms of the portal, this career report, like I said, multiple of them could be generated because many a times students may not want to just explore one career. Maybe in 1 or 2 years, they kind of decide that they would want to explore some other careers. What is also important from the parents' perspective sometimes is a complete list of colleges, which with a predictability score of what is the probability of the child to get selected in this particular college. Say if this particular child was going into environmental management and it was looking for Mumbai colleges, it would at one place be able to throw all the different colleges and different predictions that are for this particular student available. They could add it and also see career library. Even if the child registers on this and is able to see, explore different professions, because many a times the child is not sure maybe what does a UI and UX web designer do. So on this portal, the child would be able to explore what are the roles and responsibilities. It's very good to do research, even if you are not sure about what exactly is this career. If you are, say, a creative person and would want to know whether UI UX would align to what you are in the long run wanting to do. So these sort of careers are what a UI UX designer gets into: an animator, an artist, a photographer, and then what is the navigation in terms of what are the different courses that the person can take. All these is explained very clearly in the library for the child. And or even if you sort of want to pivot your career and now want to see, will this career align with my skills? So this is also a very useful resource to get information about the different careers that are available in terms of uh, different people. There is a virtual internship portal also, which people who would want to just explore different internships, whether you are a student or whether you are uh, a professional and wanting to check how would you feel, say, in a career interest of marketing. You can just do a small project and you would be able to see what are the different options available. Say, what does a marketing person do? How does he prepare a plan? And those sort of different details. I think I'll take a pause here and see if there are any questions. And would that be anything that anyone would want to clarify in terms of how these reports are generated and or anything else? Anyone has
Would you
any
like them to
question?
unmute and ask, or?
Yeah, unmute is also fine. Yeah.
Okay. Please unmute yourself and ask the question if you have any. If you don't have any questions, then just put a thumbs up, then she will go ahead. Yeah.
Were the different dimensions clear? I think it was kind of a little bit too fast that I went with the dimensions, but hope with the report you were able to see the detailed analysis of these dimensions, right?
It was very clear.
Okay, okay. Hmm. So In terms of the professionals or students, do you think these sort of a report would be helpful for deciding the future course of action, either for the perspective of being a parent or from the perspective of being a professional? Would these sort of a detailed analysis help? Or do you think that with a lot of overload, you'll get further confused?
Yes, I think they may get confused with the report.
Okay.
Actually, yes, yes, I have done the EduMail certification course, the career course certification. So even I have completed the test. At the end, after seeing the report, even I got confused. Oh my God, these
Yeah.
many
Did you
reports.
set up a time with someone to kind of make you understand this report? Because I think just dumping the report is one part, and then having someone actually explain what this report means and how this is actually aligned to your path is something which probably is makes it more beneficial, because otherwise just going through so much data and all this will confuse. That's the reason there has to be some personalized touch along with just the AI generated report that is available. So yeah, if you just see the report, I think even the professionals might get confused with so many choices appearing as top choices, so many choices appearing as good choices. So yeah, for especially students, it's best to have the parent, the child, and a counselor sit together and then make an informed decision based on the current situation of the parent, the child, and the market. What is exactly the best fit for the child? Because AI can give us a lot of data, but at the same time, a human touch is always uh, important, right? So, Yugandhar, this was for your own self, or you did it for your like someone else? You did this.
I just did the career counselor certification course with them. Then after that, I just attempted the test. At the end of the test, I feel that okay, I just understand the concept, but I feel that for Indian market, when if we give the same report to the student, uh, they will be in a dilemma again. So they will coming up with so many other options and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So somehow I just not continued with that path continuously, but
Yeah,
I'm
the
just updating.
personalized. Yes. Yeah. Anything else? Rinku says with parents' guidance, it would be helpful. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, if with a lot of parents also, because they have their own biases, they would probably may not be able to take the best judgment. So there should be a third person who is neutral and understands this probably in the conversation is what I feel. But yeah, that's a option which we have, like we can work through. Um, Anything else anyone would want to ask about these reports, this portal, or this entire presentation? Did this sort of the flow in terms of how the different parameters are important for the job alignment? Because different jobs will require all these in different degrees, say whether it was those in multiple interests of realistic, investigative, artistic. Different professions will need them in different degrees. Different professions will need the motivators in different degrees, and so on. So yeah. Mm, any further doubts, or should I proceed?
Yeah, no doubts. You can proceed. From my side, I think everything is clear. Everything is in detail. So we got a clarity.
Any of the students was this? We had some students as well, right? Gavel, Dikshita, Diksha. Was this clear? Do you think that this would be something that will help you in the decision making?
Hi, yes. So I'm a student of 10th grade right now. I really like the app Edu Milestones. I'll probably be using it in the future as well. And the overall the session was super clear. So thank you so much for that.
Most welcome. So, in case any of you would want, a detailed report, we can, for all those who are part of the group, I can send a very basic, data points which you should keep in mind. That will be a very high level overview of the different questions that we had here in a different degree. But if a very detailed assessment is required, you could reach out to me. It's basically psychometric assessment. The process is that you do the psychometric assessment, which is done online on a portal, wherein all these parameters are assessed using that psychometric assessment. uh, After the student completes that psychometric assessment, whether it is a student or a professional, that assessment will take around 45 minutes or so. The second step would be to get that report activated through contacting the owner of the assessment, and uh, which after this is activated, there is a time set up for a one-on-one discussion, because like it was mentioned, it can get overwhelming if we just dump on the reports on the student and the parent and ask them to take a decision. So there is a one-on-one call which gets set up, because every child's report, every student's, every professional's report is unique to them. And after this assessment is reviewed and the discussion is completed, this process can kind of get closed, and the student can work on the path which they will feel. Say bioinformatics was the path the student decided, so from maybe 10th standard onwards only he has started developing the coding skills also, which are important along with bio for this profession, because coding is also a very important part of bioinformatics. Similarly, for some other professions, maybe that sort of a skill which the student feels he needs to work on, he can start on maybe early on. So there are two ways to go about it. One is a very high level assessment, basic assessment. If you would want to take that, probably I can share. But if this sort of a detailed assessment, if you would want to take, then you would have to go through a proper psychometric test, which takes quite some time to complete. And because this test is going to determine how these different dimensions are measured and different dimensions are assessed. But at a very high level, you can get, whether creative fields would be good for you or these fields would be good for you by these different dimensions understanding as well. So even for professionals, if you would want to pivot, you besides this assessment, you will then need to have a path how you can position yourself into by leveraging the skills that you've already developed over these years in your profession, and now you would want to leverage them for the new profession. Some of the existing skills will be useful for the new profession as well. So I have given portal details, Rinku. You could also ping me in case you would want further detailed assessment or something in terms of this uh, short assessment also. I have put in the link to the portal here. You could see the portal. The portal is thrivegame.edumilestones.com. It is a career assessment portal wherein there are different types of assessments available for different types of needs. But assessment is just one part of it. The next part of it is actually developing of those skills and shortlisting of um, those. Are all of you part of the Google form? I think many of you have joined today would have filled that Google form which we had circulated before. If you have not, then I would again paste the link maybe here. Right, been pasting the link of the Google form. So just to summarize what exactly we covered, I would just do the summary slide. Basically, this is the different dimensions that we discussed: personality, career interest, motivators, learning style, aptitude, and for professionals, there is that emotional intelligence as well. So there's a complete comprehensive report along with a detailed execution plan, along with suitable career options and different roadmaps, the personalized student exploration of the college and inbuilt search for different international India-based colleges. We can also, like I mentioned, we'll be sharing that new age career report of science, commerce, and arts with the people who would have registered in this Google form. So if you have not till now, please register on this Google form. And yeah, you could also share your feedback about today's sessions in case there is no further doubts. You could share the feedback as well. For the professionals, after this assessment, we would also be proceeding with the different options of how they could leverage their skills, existing skills. For the students, it would be more in terms of the paths and what. Yeah. But these dimensions would be common across. Sure, Rinku, you could use it. You could also ping me. I hope you're part of this Google form. You have already filled the Google form, right? Anything else, Girija ji, that we would want to cover as a concluding?
No, I just want to reiterate that just looking at the report will not help. We have to talk to the counselor and get a complete idea. They will be able to decode that and tell you. And another important thing is what exactly, say, for example, if you do not even understand, okay, your scope lies in this particular field, the counselor is able to explain to you what is that field. You may not be even aware, like she explained, bioinformatics. So something is new and this possibility is there, and these are the various career options available. These are the colleges offering these courses. So all the possibilities are presented in front of you. So a lot of time is saved, energy is saved, and stress is saved because you know that you can rely on the person. That is what I would like to say.
Yeah, there's an overwhelm with so many options available, which parents
Exactly.
and students both feel. So
Exactly.
yeah, I
So it
think this
becomes
was
very,
sort of
very scary and confusing. And they go all sorts of everywhere, helter-skelter, and confused and terrified about, is it the right decision to take? Because somewhere somebody will say, oh, don't go to Harvard and don't go to Stanford because they are, too many options are there. And the problem is that, okay, those universities, they don't get that percentage of visa like other, they are public universities. A lot of different kinds of questions come in, reports, inputs come in from YouTubes, from channels, so many things. How many of them are reliable, we do not know. Whereas exact information we will get here. That's what I just wanted to add on to it.
So it is a very scientific process, though, initially we thought that it is something just based on gut feeling we should go. It is a very proper scientifically devised process. All the 5 dimensions are observed, all the professions matching is observed, and then we come to the conclusion so that there is no overwhelm. Though there are multiple options, it should not be like restricted to one option, but at the same time, an informed decision has to be taken. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, does anybody have any question? Then please unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, probably we can. Would you like to say any closing note, Surya?
Yeah, I just said that if if you're already in touch and would want to go ahead with the detailed assessment, you could send me a message and we could take that discussion ahead. But for those present in the group, we would be sending some material anyways, which is, which we had promised. All right.
Yeah. If there are any questions, you can please unmute and ask. Otherwise, we will call it a day. And thank you so much to everybody for joining in. It makes a lot of difference. You put in effort, and when people respond, there is a lot of satisfaction. I'm sure that it would have stirred some thoughts within you. What are my talents? What are my strengths? People ask yourself, you will ask yourself, is it something important? For example, I remember when a student was writing his resume and he was coming to me, he said, I have no experience at all. Then I said, okay. And then I saw that, okay, while talking with him, I realized that he used to take tuitions right from 8th standard because he had to support himself. I said, what an experience you have got. You have been giving tuitions, which means you have been customizing according to the student. You have gone individually, persuaded, and pursued the student's growth and seen to it that from a particular level, because the student has continued with you right from 8th standard up to 12th standard, which means you have been so. So these are the traits, the attitude people are looking for. They are not looking for where you worked. They're looking for what is the attitude, what are the skills that you brought forth to do the job. So don't belittle yourself, add there. So he had never done it earlier and he added, and bang, after 2 interviews, he got a job. So very often we don't recognize our own strengths and our own contribution. It's very important when you consult a professional, you get these kind of inputs which change your transformation, which change your focus and growth story. Yeah. Shall we close it?
Absolutely. I think, yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for the
Thank
closing
you.
remarks.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks,
And
everyone.
messages are there. Yeah. Correct. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll stop the recording and then we can probably talk.